My name is Heather, and this, as you can see from the thumbnail, we are doing a deep dive into the making a murderer case. We're going to really look deep into the case files. This is Wisconsin versus Steven Avery, and also the Wisconsin versus Brendan Dassey case we will be discussing in future episodes. They are obviously interrelated due to the fact that they were both convicted of the brutal unaliving of Theresa Halbach in 2005. The incident occurred in 2005. They were convicted in 2006, both of them. So that is what we will be covering today. Move my screen down just a little bit here. All right, so we are going to talk about Chuck Avery in this case, or in this episode. We've got two separate recordings we're going to listen to from Chuck Avery, but before we do that, Chuck Avery is the brother of Steven Avery, the older brother. He does most of from what I believe, at this time he was doing a lot of the running the business of the Avery's Auto Salvage Yard. So he was kind of, I don't know if he's the oldest brother, he might be, but he's the one that was doing most of the work and, running the business and whatnot. I believe him and Earl, but I think, I think they fought over who actually ran the business, so I'm not sure. But definitely, I know Charles did a lot in regards to running the business. So anyhow, we're going to go through a brief, and I mean brief, we're going to briefly go through Chuck Avery's arrest or police records. He was arrested for some of these things, but maybe not others. So again, this is like police reports. So we're going to read through some things. I don't want to go through all that detail because it is, private family matters, even though these are public documents. I don't want to, put it all out there. They are out there. If you guys want to find them, you can get your hands on them. So you can read them in further detail if you want. But I just wanted to go over the main points of them because I believe it paints a picture of who Chuck Avery is. Even though we have to take it with a grain of salt because it is police records and it hasn't been vetted in a court of law, but still, there are a lot of incidents that occur. And we're going to barely touch on all of them, but I just wanted to bring up at least the fact that they exist because it's important information. The types of crimes that he's alleged to have committed. He is still a free man walking this earth. So I don't know, he may have done some time for some other things, but yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I'm not insinuating that it's him either, but it's important to note the types of crimes that are committed, which would be more consistent with the way in which Theresa Halbach may have been unalived. Before we dive in, please, please, please hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know what you think about this case in the comments below. We are going to dive into Chuck Avery's past criminal record. So the first one is in 1983. We're looking at a domestic disturbance, and the complainant had a fight with her husband, Charles Avery, and she now fears for her safety as she is leaving Charles and returning to Michigan. So as we scroll down through the reports, it says they arrived at a DV center where they met her, an emergency shelter where they met. Her name's Donna. They block it off in some and not others, so I'll just call her Donna and Mrs. Avery. So Mrs. Avery informed investigating officer that on 2/8/1983, during the afternoon hours, she had a fight with her husband, Charles Avery, at their home in Michigan. She complained that they were having marital problems and that she wanted to leave her husband and go to Michigan. She feared for her safety, so she contacted the DV Center of Manitowoc. Mrs. Avery further stated that on February 8th, Charles Avery shot her dog at their home. Photographs were taken of her injuries, which were bruises to her right upper shoulder and a reddened eye. She did not pursue charges against him. Now, mind you, she wanted to move back home to Michigan. Now, this is 3 years later, and it's an assault, family trouble. Again, they're coming to the residence. It says, complainant states her husband, Charles Avery, is very drunk and insists upon picking up their children who are at the sitters, and she wants to press charges against him. This time, she does. But I don't know if they ever did. All right, this is a temporary restraining order that was placed on Chuck. Yeah, so she was trying to get an emergency order on Chuck because of the violence that she had incurred because of him, or endured, I should say. So the next one is complainant states he was gone for the weekend. He just returned and found someone had broke into his residence where they found, this is like the same, yeah, reports of vandalism inside. So it's the same report that we just were looking at, but it was typed up differently. All right, so someone, this is according to Mrs. Avery. So 1986, or no, I'm sorry, this is 19 when? I believe this is 1987. Where's the date? 1987. Yes. Okay. December of 1987. She says that Mrs. Avery called the police and stated that someone broke into their home. They stole clothing, remote control, VCR. Someone kicked in the front door of the trailer. Coffee table, an end table, the glass that was covered on them were smashed. The Christmas tree had been knocked over. Several balls smashed and several other vases were smashed. Individuals took a remote control to a VCR, several items of clothing, including a jogging suit, green shirts that were children's, and also t-shirts and socks. The fact, this officer who wrote this report said, the fact that the family dog was in the residence at the time leads officers to believe that the person responsible is either related to or friends of the Averys. So I thought that part was interesting to note there. So next, that was what we just read. The next one is aggravated battery in 1988. So Earl, okay, so this, I need to give you a little backstory about this. So someone came to the Avery home, and I have a suspicion that it was maybe someone like a friend of the Dassey boys, because these are, I believe they're minors because the names are redacted. So I think it's one of the Dassey boys who's redacted, and one of his friends who was looking to buy a car that was being sold by, well, that's the problem. We don't know who. Was it Earl Avery or was it Chuck Avery? It was parked in front of Chuck's residence, and I think Earl believed that he had a right to sell this car, and he brought this person to look at the car, and things exploded. So let's just kind of take a look. So let's call the car buyer Jim. I have no idea who they are. Let's just call them Jim, and let's call the other one Tim. Just for the sake. Tim's only going to be referenced once, so you don't have to remember. Jim is the one buying the car. So the officer spoke with Jim, who stated that he had intended to purchase a car from, he doesn't know. We'll call that person Tim. He thinks Tim is selling the car, which would be maybe Earl, or, the son of Earl. I have no idea. But Tim, is selling the car. He stated that Earl Avery and his brother Chuck had gotten into an argument as to who owned the vehicle to actually sell it. So this person went to the residence, Jim went to the residence, and after that he was accompanied by Earl Avery in the wrecker. So they drove the wrecker, whatever that is, it must be a vehicle, up to the driveway of Chuck Avery's residence, because that's where the car was located, and they began hooking up the car. Chuck Avery comes out of the house yelling that they should both leave. And so and so stayed in the wrecker or off the property and let the two brothers argue it out. So we'll say Tim and Jim stayed in the wrecker and let Chuck and Earl fight it out. The Averys began fighting and eventually were rolling around on the ground with each other. Later, so there's a whole bunch of stuff, yelling and screaming and whatnots, and then somebody pushed somebody. Chuck went into the garage, picked up a shovel, and threw it at somebody. I don't know if it's Jim or Tim because there's no other context there, or it could have even been Earl. The shovel hit the wrecker, and the two began to fight, so I'm thinking it's Earl. Chuck picked up the shovel, unless one of the men got involved. I'm not sure. So Chuck picked up the shovel and struck so and so in the chest. Then so and so stated that he was struck somewhere near the head with the shovel. And I believe that's Earl, because it's stated later that Earl was struck in the head. Because here Chuck stated he did throw the shovel at his brother. I'm going to skip to the next page. But he thought it missed him. He did not recall striking Earl on the head or across his chest with a shovel. So that redacted name was Earl. For some reason, I don't know why they redacted them, but Tim and Jim were definitely redacted. And there's more to this whole fight, but it's not even necessary. So the statements, they had statements from several witnesses that all of this happened. The next report is an SA, and they received, so whoever was writing this report received a request to assist regarding a possible SA case. So, all right, so the Manitowoc County Services Department received a report that Charles Earl Avery SA'd his 9-year-old daughter. It took place during the early part of June 1992 while she was visiting Charles at his residence. So I'm not going to get into all of it. Blah, bitty, blah, blah. I hate talking about this stuff, but I mean, it exists and we shouldn't hide from it, and we shouldn't have to say stupid code words for it, but yet here we are. All right, so Kathy, I believe is the mother of this child. Kathy states that she had been SA'd. Apparently, she told her that while she stayed at her dad's home for visitation during the early part of June, Charles Avery rubbed her private parts. I'll just leave it at that. And there were many instances of her in a bathing suit, her in a bra, her in things, and I'm just not going to get into all that. But there are many incidences, I'll say. It's not just one assault or one SA. All right, so we're going to move forward in time to 1999. So that was 91. So now we're 9 years later. And this is an SA incident that these officers are reporting to, and they were told to check on Donna Avery, who was arred and choked by husband Charles E. Avery and held against her will overnight with a telephone cord. So, the person writing this says, in reference to the phone call, there was a check welfare complaint from an anonymous complainant. So somebody just called anonymously. We don't know where the complaint came from. But here's what they said. They reported that the anonymous person, it was reported by the anonymous person that we were to check on Donna's welfare as she had apparently been arred and choked by her husband, Charles Avery, early in the morning. It was reported that she was choked with a telephone cord and held against her will overnight. I'm not going to get into everything there, but she said, so officers arrived on the scene and they went to go ask her what happened. She said that they got into a verbal agreement or argument, and that was it. There was nothing else. She said they asked her several times if anything had turned physical, and she told me during this time that nothing had happened. So she denied any physical anything. But somebody anonymously reported it. There's other people, other individuals who may have been victims of Charles that aren't even family members, and I think that's what this is talking about. According to so and so, she did not believe anything happened in regard to anything, any touching or anything physical. So, oh, maybe this is about the daughter. Charles had apparently gave them a hug, and she would not describe the hug as inappropriate, I guess, but more like boyfriend girlfriend hug. Oh, okay, interesting. I don't know who that is talking to, or talking about one of her children, perhaps, or his kids. All right, another one is probation violation. So at some point, oh, it is skipped in somewhere here. I skipped it because I didn't have a tag for it. But he is eventually arrested. I was advised he would be turning himself into jail. He turned himself into jail, and I went to the location to interview him about the incident. So he is arrested for things that he shouldn't have been doing to his children and other children, it looks like, possibly in the family. I don't know, and I don't want to get into all the details. So we're skipping through that, but it looks like he had some SA incidents with minors in the family, including his own children. And here we have a probation violation, which is in regards to the order or him being arrested and then out on probation. So his daughter, this is 16-year-old. No, it doesn't say. This is, I believe, his 16-year-old daughter, or around that age at that time. So upon making contact with the victim, she told me her father, Charles Avery, had been violating the rules of of his probation, which were put in place by his probation officer, Dick Swade. She said her father came into the residence and went into the house without knocking. According to his conditions of his probation, if he comes over to the house, he must knock first on the door. If nobody is home, he then can come in. Or if someone answers the door, they must tell him he can come in before he is allowed to do so. And this victim is stating that she knows he's come over multiple times and just come in without knocking. And she also thinks that it is possible that Charles has a tap on her phone because she thinks that Charles can listen in on, he put a line in the garage and can listen in on all their phone calls or something. So that's kind of important to know what kind of person we're talking about here. Criminal warrant on file. Dispatch received a tip from Donna Avery, wife of Charles, that she would be going with him in a vehicle today if deputies would watch out for them. Deputies checked area and the Avery property and residence and were unable to locate Charles. Deputies Bessler and Froelich responded to Donna Avery's residence, where they took Charles Avery into custody. So he had a warrant at some point in this. More family trouble. Like, look at this. I'm not even going through all of it. There's just more family incidents here and there and everywhere. So the next one is this the 2002? Yeah, this is the 2002 one here. So theft of personal belongings. So this is another incident of a woman who obviously must have known the Averys. She was coming upon hard times. She had a car that wasn't running and she wanted to store it at the Avery Auto Salvage Yard and got permission to do so. Well, when she finally went to go get it back, things were missing out of her car that she was storing in there. And also, she had brand new tires on her, but not brand new, but like different tires on her car. And a bunch of things missing. So theft of personal belongings. And it says the vehicle had been parked at Avery's Auto for some time with permission until she could find a friend to fix it. The complainant has since picked up the vehicle and found items taken and tires are different. So Alma is her name. She indicated that she had left a station wagon parked at the Earl Avery residence, and several items were now missing from the vehicle. Several boxes of clothing, which she described as being new, and also a new VCR. She also stated that the tires on the station wagon had been changed, and there were different tires on it than the ones that were on the station wagon when she had it. She further indicated that the spare tire was missing, along with several tools out of the back of the vehicle. She said that someone pried open one of the doors to remove the items. So, I'm not saying that Charles Avery did that, but I'm just saying that it was on the Avery property and that happened. So, that was one of the police reports for Charles Avery. This is basically his rap sheet, and it just keeps going on. Like, look at all of these. Look at all of these. I'm not even going to say them all. Annoying phone calls. See, harassing people. That's one of the allegations, was that he was bothering, like, friends of other people, friends of, like, the kids. More police records here. And it just goes on and on. And this is all for Charles Avery. So, there you have it. He has a very, very long rap sheet. So, I just wanted to show you, as you can see, there were just some things that, there's some calling, some pranks, or harassing phone calls. I don't know. But there were some things going on from that Avery home. So now we're going to switch gears. We're going to go straight to the Chuck Avery phone calls. The very first phone call I'm going to play for you is actually I believe this is the day prior to when he had his interview with law enforcement. I believe it's actually the 8th. This is just a short phone call that he makes to the Manitowoc Police Department to basically tell them, don't break into my home as you're doing these property searches, searching for Theresa. And let me unmute. Okay, here we go.
Sheriff's Department, Nikki speaking.
Yeah, Missy.
Yes.
This is Charles Avery.
What can I do for you?
Well, if someone broke into my house down there, someone's going to be paying dearly. I'm up north right now.
Okay.
If they can't wait till I get home, there's going to be heads flying.
Let me transfer you.
Okay.
Dispatch 193. Can you hang on 1 second?
Sure. She's transferring me. You got the cell phone, I got the cell phone on mine. Good that. Hello.
Chuck, anything in regards to the incident, you need to talk to Calumet County.
Calumet County?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm just saying, if my place is broken into without my permission,
Okay,
a lawsuit.
I don't have anybody for you to talk to, but he did state that you could call Calumet County.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And my daughter was going to be picking up my dog.
Mm.
Is that a possibility or no?
Hang on. 193. Dispatch 193. Can you hang on?
Yes. And another thing.
Yes.
when I come home tomorrow, can I get in my house?
Hang on 1 second.
Yes. What? Oh, sure he did. Mine. Well, maybe if they were in the garage, they ran in that place.
Chuck, is it a puppy?
Well, it's a little over a year old, yes.
Okay, as far as my deputy inspector stated, has been removed possibly by Earl.
The what?
The dog has been removed possibly by Earl.
That I'm not sure on.
Okay, and you will not be allowed in the residence tomorrow.
We're going to stay up here?
I have no idea, but he stated you will not be allowed in the area tomorrow.
So no one can come home?
You can contact Calumet. I don't have any further information for you.
Oh, you got the phone number there?
I can transfer you right to Calumet.
Okay, do that.
All right, so that was that. We don't have the Calumet call, unfortunately. Be interesting to see. I mean, it's kind of ballsy to call the police station and be like, "You better not break into my house." But they had a search warrant, so it wasn't really breaking in. All right, so we are going to listen now to his actual police interview, his interview with law enforcement that took place on the 9th. Remember, Theresa went missing the 31st, or at least that's the last time she was seen by anyone. And now we're on November 9th of 2005. The police search is underway. They're not allowed at their home. I believe they found the car at this point. So, yeah, they did find the car because they're going to reference it in here. So, let's sit back and see what they have to ask of Chuck, who has a rap sheet a mile long, yet his interview is extremely short, and you'll find that the majority of it, he's actually answering his phone and talking to other people. So, which really irritates me when you're in a conversation with someone and then someone just picks up their phone and interrupts. I hate that. Like, especially if you're in an important conversation with law enforcement, why are you answering your phone? It's not that important. And every time he answers, he's like, "I can't talk right now." So, whatever. Anyways, it's just a funny thing that I noticed. So what do you guys think? Do you think it's kind of ballsy to call the police and be like, "You better not be breaking into my house"? I think that's pretty ballsy. All right, so we're going to start this interview 11/9/2005. This is the police interview with Chuck Avery, brother of Steven Avery, and possibly the co-manager of Avery's Auto Salvage Yard.
You know, you're not under arrest, but you are in our custody. That before we talk to you about anything, we have to read you your rights, okay? Well, because you're not free to go right now until we get this all over with. And we probably will ask you a few questions, and it's up to you if you want to answer. But let's go through the rights. Tony will read the rights while you start driving. Is that okay?
Okay. Okay, Charles. What's your first name? Is Charles?
Correct.
Middle initial?
E.
Avery, A-V-E-R-Y.
Correct.
What's your date of birth, Charles?
7/13/54.
And today's November 9th,
Let him put his belt on for you.
2005, right? And it's 1:33 in the afternoon. Charles, you ever had your rights read to you before? Charles?
I don't remember.
Okay.
That has to be a lie because he's been arrested, and we know that. He's been in prison before, so he had to have been read his Miranda rights at least some point in time.
Okay, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to consult with a lawyer before questioning and to have a lawyer present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you at public expense before or during any questioning if you so wish. Do you understand each of the rights I read to you, Charles?
Yes.
Understanding these rights, are you willing to talk with us?
Depends on the questions.
Okay. But you understand your rights, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Charles, what I need you to do is sign in the lower right-hand corner showing that I read you your rights. Here's a pen. And of course you remember myself, Detective O'Neill from Marinette County Sheriff's Department.
Yeah.
And Agent Kim Skrolinsky from the Department of Criminal Investigation.
Yes.
Okay.
By the way, I believe that noise is a train or something that's going by while they're sitting in a car doing this interview.
What's the date today? 11/9.
9.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, where'd this wind come from, Chuck?
Outside.
It's pretty windy.
We talked to you a couple times over the weekend about the events of last Monday. Has anything in there become any clearer on what happened, what you did, what specifically Steven did?
To my knowledge, I made the reports. Everything was good to that side. It's whatever's on my reports. I mean, statement or whatever you want to call it.
Sure. Let me ask you this. Do you remember getting a call from him about 5 o'clock? 6 o'clock, something around there?
5, 6 o'clock.
Probably closer to 6.
What day?
Monday.
Put down a couple of
No.
Okay. I think it was just a little before 6 he called you. And I thought he told us that he was having dinner over at your mom's.
That could be a possibility.
Would he call and say, hey, come on over, or are you going to go over to mom's or something like that?
Well, one day during the week, I was supposed to come over and have dinner over there, yes.
Okay.
But I already made dinner at home.
You had
I mean,
already...
supper.
Okay, supper, okay. Typically, what time is supper at mom's when she's making it?
Usually a little bit after 5.
Is it ever as late as 6 o'clock? This is during the week. Maybe on weekends it's different. But...
Well, between 5 and 6, yes.
So any time in there it could have been.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just realized I was muted. Basically, he just corroborated Steven's statement of going over to the parents, and he's helping. Like, the things he's saying so far have helped Steven so far, but we'll see. Let's keep going.
But I would say closer to 5, I would say.
Think back about... Well, let me ask you this. Did you have dinner with your mom at any night last week?
I think I did, yes.
Do you know which night that was?
No, I don't.
Do you remember Monday when he left work sometime between 11 and 12, and I think he reported to you he had that woman coming from the
magazine to take a photo of the van. You remember that, him stating that.
No comment at this time. Because by part of my statement, I think that was wrong,
So he said no comment at this time. But let me see if I can back it up a sec so we can hear the question again.
Well, do you want to change it? You're free. Typically, what time is supper at Mom's?
I think I did, yes.
You remember that, him stating that.
No comment at this time.
He was having dinner over at your mom's.
That could be a possibility.
Would he call and say, hey, come on over, or are you going to go over to mom's or something like that?
Well, one day during the week, I was supposed to come over and have dinner over there, yes.
Okay.
But I already made dinner at home.
You had already...
supper.
Okay, supper, okay. To take a photo of the van.
Yes.
Do you know which night that was?
No, I don't.
Do you remember Monday when he left work sometime between 11 and 12, and I think he reported to you he had that woman coming from the magazine to take a photo of the van? You remember that, him stating that?
No comment at this time.
So in his original statement to police, he wrote in a statement earlier to police that he remembered Steven getting off of work between 11 and 12 and telling Chuck that Theresa was coming to take pictures of the van. And now he's saying no comment. So that is really peculiar to me. It's such a mundane comment to make. And now he's saying no comment. He's not necessarily retracting his comment, but he's saying, I don't know if I was being accurate in my statement, so I'm retracting my comment. I don't know. That's strange to me. What do you guys think?
Because by part of my statement, I think that was wrong,
Well, do you want to change it? You're free to do that. We just want the most accurate description of the events of that day. That's all we're after.
I know that. But just do what you gotta do, and with me or whatever. I know you picked up Steven already.
Right. Charles, is there anything that you
do what you gotta do or whatever with me? I know you picked up Steven. So he thinks he's getting arrested too? Does he think that he should go down for the crime? Like, maybe, he has had a long rap sheet with law enforcement, so maybe he doesn't trust them and thinks that, he might get arrested for something he didn't do. But why would he act like, yeah, just, okay, you're going to take me in? Like, all nonchalant?
Told us that wasn't true up to this point?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, so you're not aware of anything that you want to change at this time? That you told us that may not be true? And think about that, Charles.
He worked 11 o'clock on Monday or Tuesday. I'm not sure what day it was.
Okay. And did he come back after that?
Yes, he was back, yeah.
Sometime in the
But
afternoon.
I don't know what time he came back.
Okay. At any time last week did he operate your front end loader forklift?
He could have. He couldn't have. I don't know.
He drives it periodically.
Yes, he does.
Okay, just as you do, just as Earl does.
That's right.
Okay. What about the skid steer? Could you have driven that last week?
He drives them all.
Okay. Do you know if he crushed any cars last week?
That I know for a fact we didn't.
You did. Okay. And you went up.
Cars we got there right now, they were crushed. They were 2 weeks before.
Okay. What about the blue one that's in the crusher?
I don't know.
Okay. You went up to Marinette County on Thursday night.
Friday.
Friday morning.
Friday night.
Friday night.
When I saw the headlights in front of me. It's down on my statement. Should be anyway. Thursday night, that's when we saw Steven saw the tail lights down by him.
That was when you guys were on your way to Menards.
Correct.
Thursday. Friday is when you saw the headlights
Over by me.
over by your house. Okay.
Excuse me.
Sure.
Yes. Yes? Yes, I do, but I can't talk right at the present time. Yes, they did. What, half an hour ago? Calumet? I don't know.
I imagine whoever that is on the other end was just asking, did Steven just get arrested? Because he said, yes, he did. Calumet, meaning Calumet County, are the ones who arrested him. And he said just a half an hour ago. So that's what I think somebody asked him on the phone.
No, I was not.
I think they just asked, were you arrested?
By his brother's house. Yes, and I'm in one of the detectives' cars right now. Yes. Not at the present, no. Roughly, yes. Yeah. To Rivers. Hospital DNA. Right? No. I can't talk right now, actually. So, oh yeah.
He can't talk right now, but he's just been on the phone with this person for a couple minutes. Where's the interview? It's just silent. And why aren't they asking Chuck anything about where was he Monday? What was going on with him? Like what? They're not treating him like a suspect at all. They're only asking questions to find out about Steven. And Chuck's the one with the more violent history. again, what's with this silence? I don't get it. This is supposed to be a police interview. I don't know if he's still on the phone or what, but get off the phone. You're being interviewed by police officers.
Right in the yard there?
Right in
By the shop?
Yes.
Okay.
Not in the shop,
But
but
in that area, the fenced-in area?
on top, yes.
Okay.
I ran over a rim and stopped running the second day I had it. That's in my logbook.
Okay. You keep every car that you have down there in the logbook?
Yes, they should be.
So you pretty much know that the impound, the yard, and everything, that's kind of like your baby, right?
Yeah.
You're pretty much in control of that?
What's in the impound right now is in none of our cars.
No, what I mean as far as the yard and everything else, that's your domain, isn't it?
Well, it's my living, yes.
Okay, how'd that car get down there?
What car?
Her car, without you knowing.
I don't know.
So
That's what you guys are there to find that out.
it's your lot.
Yeah, it's my lot. What if it was in your backyard?
Then I would know it was there.
That's a good point, though. He's saying it's your job to find out how it got there, and I agree. But I mean, it just does. It looks suspicious. How did that car get there, and who put it there? But you gotta remember, there were people who would benefit from Steven going down, aka the Manitowoc Police, Manitowoc County, who was about to probably lose a $36 million lawsuit to Steven Avery for a wrongful conviction that happened in 1985.
Someone else found out?
It's not that someone else...
I got vehicles coming and going all during the night and everything else, like Barbara's Kisty. One goes to work at 11 o'clock, 4:11. I'm supposed to get up out of bed and everything else and check who's leaving and who's coming in.
So you don't know what happens in that yard?
During the day, yes.
Okay.
I don't let no vehicles out in the yard. They gotta walk.
How about Earl? Is he?
He's gonna tell you the same thing.
Steve?
I would say yes.
Why would somebody put it down there and then try to cover it up?
Cover what up?
Her vehicle was covered with brush, with a hood from another car up against it, and fenders.
That I don't know.
Someone was trying to hide it, right?
I don't know.
When you think
How am I going to answer that when I don't know nothing?
Well, I'm not saying that you know, Charles. I'm saying the idea that someone's trying to conceal something. They don't want you to find it, right?
Yeah, if they don't want me to find it, yes.
Okay.
I got a crusher there. I could get rid of it if I wanted to.
Sure.
And it's not even my crusher.
Right. But you guys still run it?
Yeah, we do run it.
Okay. So even though it's not your crusher, you can still run it.
That's right. So your point is?
What has to happen to a car before it's crushed?
Nothing.
You can just crush it as is. What about taking out the engine?
Nope.
Gas tank?
You would like them out? Yes.
Fluids drained?
Gas tank, battery, and tires. The rest could stay.
And
that car's put down there, it's hid from your view until somebody can get a chance to do all that and then crush it. And where's all that done at usually? All that stuff removed. You do it down there, or do you do it in the shop?
Do it in the shop.
Someone rolled that Toyota RAV4 into your shop and said, I'm crushing this, I need to take this stuff off. Wouldn't that look a little strange to you? Why would you crush a perfectly good car?
Well, like I told someone before, all my like 95 and up goes behind the impound.
Right.
All the impound. Because that's where I got all my newer cars.
Right. Well, this car was in good shape, wasn't it an accident?
Someone, was it?
No, I'm telling you, it's in good shape. There's nothing, not a thing wrong with it. I'm just telling you, if that car's sitting in your shop and someone's working on it to get it ready to crush, that would raise a little suspicion by you, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would, yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me, Lord?
Sure.
Hello? Yes, it is. That is correct, but I cannot talk right now at the present time. This morning. No. No. Well, I'm his brother, but you have to call me back about at least an hour. Yep, or early this afternoon. Okay. Yep, bye. You know that Earl Saturday, it was his weekend to work.
Yeah.
He let family members go down there and everything else.
Right.
And we were working with you guys right from the beginning.
But nobody went down there till Saturday. No law enforcement, no searchers went down there until Saturday.
Yeah, but we didn't know nothing, anything, till Saturday.
Right. You knew she was there Monday, talking to your brother and taking photos of the van. Right? That's what you knew up until Saturday.
Yeah.
Right. And that car is down there concealed from your view.
To a certain extent.
Right. And in order to work on it, to get it ready to crush, you can't be in the shop. Because it's got to be done without you knowing it. Because you would say, what the heck is going on?
Because the remote's in the end loader right now. Hello? I can't talk right now. Say who? I can't talk right now. I'm in a detective's car right now. Yes. No, to Rivers. Yeah.
Does anybody else find it very comical that he keeps repeating, I can't talk right now, I can't talk right now, yet he continues to talk to these people inside the car of law enforcement while he is being questioned about the disappearance of Theresa, and he finds his phone calls are much more important than that.
They were 42.
That was it so far. Me? No. Yes. No. my daughter. No. Yeah, that's where they picked up Steven. Yes, correct. Yes. Yeah, no.
Like I said, the majority of his interview with police, he's on the phone with other people.
Well, yes and no. Not sure. I ain't got the paper in front of me. That I'm not sure yet. Yeah. It's Rivers. Calumet. Okay. Yep, back.
Chuck, you said the remote's in the front end loader. What's that?
That works the Norb's crusher.
It's a remote control?
Yep.
What's it look like?
It's like a half a cigarette pack.
Is it like a...
And long and narrow like?
Uh-huh. Is it like a garage door opener?
Something like that, yeah.
What kind of shape's it in?
I don't know. It's yellow, I think, or cream.
Gotta unmute myself. If I were one of these cops, I would be like, can you maybe silence your phone for a minute? It's only going to take a few more minutes. But they never do that. And they let him answer his phone however many gosh darn times it rings. It's very annoying.
Hello? Yes, there is. No, I'm in Two Rivers right now in an unmarked car. I'm in Two Rivers. Yes. I don't know that. I'm in an unmarked car right now going to Two Rivers Hospital. Well, I'm going over by Earl's house later on. Earl, my brother. Melnick Road and Fisherville. Yeah, Fisherville Road and Melnick. MELLEK or something like that. Something like that. Yeah. No, that's out in... it's south of Larrabee. Yeah. It would be a Whitelaw address. Whitelaw address. Well, why don't you call me Whitelaw? Call me back in about an hour, yes. I can't talk right now. Huh?
Okay, Kim Aurora.
Well, You have to call around once. Dial 755-2257. Yes. I gotta let you go.
Is that remote wrapped in tape?
I don't know.
Is it busted up? Had to be held by tape together with tape or anything?
I don't know.
Okay.
Who put in the front end loader?
Probably Earl.
That's just normally where you keep it when it's not used?
For now, yes. So Paul from Norks would pick up the crusher. Hello? Yes? Yeah, I can't talk right now. No, I do not. Yes, it was. First one. First one, yes. No, I gotta let you go. I can't talk. Okay.
Somebody should go back and count how many times he says, I can't talk right now, and then stays on the line, because it could be a drinking game.
Now, where are you going to be taking me later? Can you take me out by Earl?
Yeah. Do that.
I don't understand why it's just silence. They're not even asking him questions. And they're not even asking him really good questions that are like helping to get to any true answers. And his phone keeps interrupting them. So it annoys the heck out of me.
And what does my son to have to do with this shit?
What's on?
Yeah, that's it.
Go on, next one. Christopher.
I don't know. What do you mean?
They're picking on him. And I haven't seen him in, Christ, 2 to 3 weeks. I saw him once.
I saw him on TV give an interview. It's the first time I ever heard about him saying anything.
Yep, that's him.
Okay.
Am I going to lose another kid over this shit? Yeah, all right.
Who's picking on him, Chuck?
Detectives.
The media or the police?
Big detectives, the police, or whatever.
Earl, someone dragged this stuff to your house.
Huh?
Someone dragged this problem to your house, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so don't take it out on us.
Well, I'm just saying.
We
He ain't got nothing to do with this. He doesn't live there. He doesn't do nothing. He's having a little baby right now. She's just about due. Well, she is due, but I don't know.
What would you like us to do about it?
What do you mean? Let him alone?
Well, if it was your child that was missing, what would you not want us to do?
No, but what I'm
If it
saying...
was your child that was missing, Chuck, what would you not want us to do?
What I'm saying
What would
is...
you not want us to do, Chuck?
We've been working with
You'd
you
want us to
right
talk to
together, right
everybody
from the
and
beginning.
everybody and get your baby home, right?
Well, of course.
All right, so what are you asking us to do, Chuck? What should we tell this family that you don't want us to do?
I think we're going in
Well,
here,
we ain't
right?
got nothing to do with it,
Are we
though.
going right in here?
Sure. I think he'd want us to do everything we possibly could, Chuck.
Yeah, but we ain't got nothing to
Okay.
do with it. Just because you
Put
brought
cars
up.
in your lot, Chuck.
Okay, I'm done. Just gotta do what you gotta do here, and
You know, you're not under arrest.
Whoops. All right. So that was the end of that. And it we really didn't learn a whole lot, but we also learned that he corroborated Steven Avery's statements, and we can basically agree that he wasn't looked into properly with the past that he has, and with those interview questions and the fact that it lasted 31 minutes and the majority of it he was on the phone with other people telling them I can't talk right now. Yeah, I don't have a lot of confidence in our law enforcement if they can't realize, like, hey, this guy on the property also could have maybe done it, so let's ask him some questions in that line. But no, they just wanted to narrow their focus on Steven because of the lawsuit. So they wanted to make sure that Steven got the blame for this, even though there were multiple people on this property that could have done it. It's not just Steven. Steven's not the only person. So there you have it. That was Chuck's interview. Next episode, we're going to listen to Bobby Dassey, the one who Kathleen Zellner, the appeal attorney, his appeals attorney, is fighting for Steven Avery. She has in some of her. I feel like I'm not talking to you guys here. I just don't want to do full screen because you guys don't need to see me. But I just was gonna say, I don't even remember. Just that it's very interesting. This whole law enforcement that doesn't really do its job, especially when it comes to these tiny little towns and trying to pin these horrific crimes on basically anybody just to get someone behind bars for it. And I feel like that's what they're doing in Idaho 4 and maybe Delphi and potentially this case, but really they just wanted to get Steven so that they didn't have to pay his civil lawsuit. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that I see you in the next one. As like I said, we'll be doing Bobby Dassey, the one who Zellner thinks is the likely suspect. So that one will be interesting. Thank you so much again, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye now. If you've been impacted by a true crime and would like your story told in your own words, or if you or someone you know has been wrongfully convicted or accused of a crime, please write to crimeincourtchannel@gmail.com and tell us your real true crime encounters. Thanks for watching.